Guys, what's going on? It's Rambeer here from SOUNDCLOUD Barbell. We have a important topic for today, and it has to do with your time. And this is something that everybody talks about. You know, we're all trying to be more productive. I get to talk to a lot of people on a daily and weekly basis who are trying to become healthier. They want to lose weight, they want to get stronger, they want to get rid of injuries and back pain and knee pain. But one of the common reasons why they're not there yet already is because I just don't have enough time. And so before we get in, I'm going to give you one tool, one strategy that is going to make a huge difference in how much time is actually available to you and how you spend that time. So before we get into that though, the first thing that's important to think about is how many hours are actually available to you. So every single week you have 168 hours, okay? In order to really change your body, you only need 3 to 4 hours per week out of 168. Like, people think that you need to work out all day, double days, and if you can't, that's not, you're not gonna get in shape. That's false. I personally work out maybe 4 or 5 hours a week. That's still not a lot out of 168. And if we say that, oh, I don't have 3 hours or 4 hours out of 168, it's gonna be really tough for you to ever make that change. So the first step is, it doesn't mean you have to be perfect today, oh, your schedule's all figured out and you're doing it, but it is a good idea to be okay, there is 168 hours. I just need 3, okay? By the way, which is 3 is even less than 2%. 4 is right around 2.5% of your week's hours, right? So, if you say, you're working 8 hours a day and you're sleeping 8 hours a day. Now, we're just gonna use those as rough estimates because most people, and here's another thing, I'm not getting enough sleep. So apparently we're only sleeping 4 to 6 hours a night. Now where are those other few hours going, right? So we're just gonna round up and we're gonna say that you're sleeping a full 8. Although through experience and through talking with lots and lots of people, that's never the case. We'll be generous. 8 and 8 hours at work, okay? And then we'll include an hour in there for commuting, all right? And some of you guys may be commuting a little bit more, but we've already factored in a whole bunch of extra time, so we'll round it up. We'll say that 8 hours of work, 8 hours of sleep, 2 hours of commute, which, by the way, if you're commuting 2 hours, I would say let's take a look at that first and foremost. But that gives you 18 hours, right? And that means there's still 6 hours left, and that means over the course of the week, and by the way, most people you're not working on the weekends, or you have 1 day, 2 day, 3 days off, whatever it is, we'll just average out. That means you've got 42 hours of non-work, non-sleeping, non-commuting. So out of those 42, all you need is 3, which is less than 10% of that time. It's about 7%. So you gotta ask yourself, where are those 42 hours being spent, okay? And this is the first step. So if you're a person who thinks that you don't have time, the first thing is just going over these numbers and then realizing okay, there is time here. I don't know where it's going, but I'm gonna find out, which we'll get to at the end. The one thing that you can actually do that will help you overcome this. So step 1 would be just realize this and see how much time you actually have in your week, how much time you're spending working. The next part that helps you realize what's going on is there are people who are far busier than you and I who are able to make everything happen. And they're not better than us. They're not superior to us. They're not like superhuman. They're actually just more conscious and aware of what they're doing, and they just take the time to plan and number one, think about what they want, but then number two, plan out how they're gonna make that happen. So you have to be intentional with that time. So very often I'll get the, male who's in his 20s or in college or is a single male, and he'll tell me how he has no time. And hey guys, I mean, first of all, everyone's on social media. Like, if you're gonna say something, at least, have your social media reflect that. A lot of times when people will say, I don't have time, and then I see them on social media, they're out partying, they're at the game, they're doing this. Like, where's all this random time coming from? Like, we convince ourselves of a lot of things. But my point with that being, I have many, not just like one or two, like dozens of mothers and women in here who are extreme. Like, you want to talk about busy, there is nobody busier than a mom who also is working, who is also taking care of the house. There's so many moms who come to San Jose Barbell, and then also that we have as part of our online program, that they're taking care of their kids, okay? And a lot of these moms are like 2, 3, 4 kids. They work a full-time job. They're the ones responsible they're taking care of the house, they're taking care of the cooking, they're taking care of the cleaning, they're taking care of the finances of the house, the organization of the house, like the activities for the kids. Like, you cannot be more busy than a mom with some kids and a job and, all of the things that moms have to do or they get to do in their day-to-day. But you, as a 24-year-old or a 31-year-old single male, don't have time to take care of your health. Like, at some point, you have to realize what you're saying and come face to face with the reality, because it will never change if you convince yourself for the rest of your life that you don't have time. So as a recap, step one would be, hey, how much time is there in the week? And having the awareness, like, even if I'm doing, using up 18 hours, there's still 6 hours a day that are being spent. How are they being spent? Are they being spent in ways that will make my life better? Or are they being spent in ways that are maybe not making my life better, right? And you have that choice, and that's only up to you. Only you can decide. Only you can decide if watching Game of Thrones is a worthwhile use or spend of your time. Only you can decide if going to the game or going out drinking with people is the use of your time that you want to make, right? Like, nobody can tell you that, okay? But what I can tell you is, if you tell me that I want to get in shape, I want to be healthy, I want to feel better, I want to look better, then there's decisions that you got to make. But you got to have the information in front of you first, right? The second part was, like, there's people who are doing this who are far busier than you and I. And so the first example I gave you is of moms who, like I said, like, I have dozens of examples here at San Jose Barbell and in my online program. But the other example is, like, the really successful people. I'm not talking about just business or money, but the people who are successful in all areas of life, they all make time for their health, and in fact, it's always at the top of their priorities. So you can't say that you or I know better than the people who are most successful in life in terms of they have very deep, meaningful relationships with their friends and family, and they spend time with them, right? So you can't say, oh yeah, family is important to me, but you don't spend any meaningful time with them, right? These people are financially successful. They have businesses, careers, whatever. They are physically successful. They are healthy, strong, fit, in shape, right? They give back. They're successful in their contribution to the world. These people, all across the board, prioritize health first. So why would it make sense for you or I to say, oh yeah, I'm just too busy, with my work and this and that to work out? Makes no sense. Makes zero sense. So, that's the second part. So the third part that I'm going to leave you with is the actual thing that will help you make this happen. And that's a little tool that I got from Alex Sharfin, and you probably have heard about this tool before. It's just that people don't use it or take it seriously. And it is to do a time study. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to, hour by hour, write down everything you are doing for 2 weeks. Okay, and the way that Alex describes it is that, by the time that third day comes around, so you're going to carry around this piece of paper and you're going to be writing down everything you're doing, okay? By the time the third day comes around, it has a dramatic shift and impact on your behavior, because you look at it and you just realize what the information is, what the facts are. So, time study, 2 weeks, have that piece of paper, hour by hour, write down what you're doing. By the third day, you'll notice you can't continue moving forward when the truth is looking you in the face. You will have to make decisions at that point. So that's the tool that I want you to use. Is the time study. Every time I've gone back and done it, it's immediately impacts my life. And it's good. And if maybe you have done it, but it's good to revisit it, because it's very easy to kind of just get off that track as things happen and time goes on. So circling it back, there is time. You just need 3 hours out of the week minimum. My personal suggestion, and to start off the day, and so I'll actually read this off, but my suggestion is you start each day with some type of physical activity, okay? And it doesn't have to be a lot. The simplest one is from our good friend Max Shank, and it's called the 5-minute flow. And the 5-minute flow is you wake up, first thing you do is you drink a glass or two of water, okay? So we're starting off with hydration, and you make circles with all your joints. If you don't do this, if you can't do this, then then we need to really sit down and think about what's going on, because this is not only is this the easiest thing to do, the lowest barrier of entry, but to health, but it also has one of the biggest impacts on your overall health. Immediately you'll start to feel different. And so again, that's the 5-minute flow. You can search it online, search Max Shank, search 5-minute flow, and the simplest variation is you drink 2 glasses of water, and then you move all your joints, head to toe, every single one. You got the neck, you got all the joints and all the bones in your vertebrae, in your spine, your shoulders, your elbows, your hands, your fingers, your wrists, your hips, your lower part of your spine, your knees, your ankles, all your joints. Make circles with them. All right. So we'll leave it with that, guys. Make time for yourself. Make time for yourself to move. You will not be sorry. If you're having trouble, reach out to me. I will help you out. I will point you in the right direction. There's just so many resources out there that can help you. You just gotta, the idea that you're looking for is you want to study your time, that so then you can be more realistic with your time and more intentional with your time. And I can help you, and I can help you find the right tool for you. My recommendation is the 2-week time study, okay, where you're tracking every hour for 2 weeks, how you're spending it. If you do that, you change your life from being reactive and just kind of meandering about into more focused and intentional time. It won't take long for your life to just completely change, alright? So with that, guys, I hope you guys have a fantastic start to your week. It is Monday. It is Motivational Message Monday.